Welcome to Hour 2 of the Midwest #1 weekly motorsports show, Track Talk, on the RacinBoys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. Once again, here's Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome, everyone, to hour number 2 of Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810. Hey, like these glasses, everybody. Getting old. Old dude needs glasses when he's reading now. How about that? Or bigger font. I don't know. Anyway, it's good to see everybody on the chat room. And it is so funny. You know, there'll be 20 or so people just kind of hanging out listening to us on Sports Radio 810 on hour number 1, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. And next thing you know, we roll over here to the internet portion of the show, and about double of the people come over here. So we appreciate everybody following us over there. Hollywood Bob, Clint Brown. Got who else is on there? A bunch of them on there. Race Fan WB. Rain is in the area now, and I want to know where Race Fan WB is because they're talking about rain in the area. I know it was sprinkling on me a little bit, Kirk, when I came in. How about yourself?
No, I didn't see any. It was cloudy, but I didn't have any sprinkles coming on me coming in.
Really?
But, I was looking forward to going out to Lakeside Speedway here about noontime today, but I don't know about that now that they're supposed to have a practice session. And I don't normally go to practices at Lakeside Speedway, but in light
But it's only 2 hours long, so you won't be out there long.
Well, in light of the track being shut down for half the season last year and the flood, I was interested to see what
get your Lakeside fix, Kirk.
I was interested to see what everything looked like.
I'm like you. I was planning on going out there, and I still am. And maybe what we need to do, Kirk, is maybe we'll put a call into Mark Olson during the second hour. And maybe he can give us a quick little update. Maybe we could do that at some point. Lloyd Collins, he's going to check in with us. He's headed up to the MLRA event up at I-80 in Greenwood, Nebraska. They're going to be running with the Midwest ASCS region guys up there tonight. So we'll talk a little late model racing and MLRA here in just a moment as well. And then maybe we'll check in with Mark Olson to find out what's going on. If there's a promoter or somebody that is out there that knows what's happening at any of the area tracks that is planned to race tonight, like I-35, L.A. Raceway, Valley Speedway, Heartland Park Topeka.
I don't think L.A. was supposed to run tonight. They had a car show today, but no scheduled event at L.A. Raceway tonight.
They're not running?
No.
They ran last week.
They ran last week, right.
Why wouldn't they just wait then?
Well, they got the big show coming up next Saturday night with the
Why wouldn't that just be the opener?
Warrior region and the War.
Are you sure about that? Mm-hmm. Really? Wow.
But Valley Speedway is supposed to have opening night tonight, and the ULMA late models are part of that show for the first time.
Well, that kind of changes my plans just a little bit.
You were planning on going to L.A. Raceway.
Well, I wanted to go down. I can't believe that. I haven't talked to Lauren or Jeff all week, but that was my plans, was to go down there. And
well, today they had a Dare car show in downtown Sedalia from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. scheduled.
Yeah. That's
what shows up on the L.A. Raceway schedule for today. And then next Saturday, no, you're right.
They do race tonight.
They do race tonight.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
I was going to say, what the heck are you talking about?
I stand corrected. L.A. Raceway is on tap tonight. USRA A-modifieds, B-modifieds, 305 Sprint, Street Stocks, Hobby Stocks. Gates open at 5, Hot Lap 7, Racing 7.
See there? I knew I was right on that.
You're right.
You hate it.
That thrills
Kirk,
you to death when I tell you,
no,
you're right, Scott.
It does.
I was wrong.
I kind of like that a little bit. I'm not going to deny that. I kind of like it when I'm right. But I know one thing. You hate it when you're wrong. You hate it when you're wrong more than I like it when I'm right.
All right.
Huh?
It's as long as I have a chance
I
to
promise you folks, when we go off there here.
As long as I have a chance to correct it.
Listen. When I promise you, as we are sitting right here, I promise you, when we go off there, Kirk Elliott's going to go, I can't believe I screwed that up.
Now, in this instance, I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about that, because you know why? We had a chance to correct that right away.
See, Hollywood Bob is flaming you right now.
Sorry, Hollywood Bob.
Hey, Bob, it's K-I-R-K, by the way. It's not K-U-R-K. Just FYI, just to let you know.
I misread the schedule. When I was going through the websites and write down the schedules yesterday, I looked at April 7th, Saturday, Dare Car Show, and I didn't bother to look right below that.
Yeah.
And it said there is a race tonight.
I will tell you something about Kirk Elliott that most people don't know. He can get a little tunnel vision once in a while. Yeah. Just a little bit. he gets a little tunnel vision, and sometimes
I'm focused in, baby.
He's like, woo! He's right in there on it, man. I mean, it is amazing.
Hollywood Bob was back there going, what in the world's he talking about?
Well, I knew.
We're having races tonight.
Well, yeah. Duh. Bob, is it raining down there, by the way? Oh.
As long as it doesn't rain.
He's had, Bob brings up a great point. Well, he is from Iowa. All right, we got a caller. I don't know who this is calling in, but we're going to answer it. Who's this? You're on RacinBoys.
It's the Merman. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Mer. What's happening, buddy?
Well, just getting ready to roll up here to the Lucas Oil MLRA show up here at I-80, but now's the day. Today's the day I wish I had an enclosed trailer going up there.
Your cart's getting filthy, isn't it, bud?
It's going to get nasty.
I assume you're already rolled in. You're there already and ready to go, right?
No. I've been ripping and running. I actually got up about 6:30 this morning and got my stuff ready, headed over to Croft Trailer. I had a little issue with the trailer lights, so went over and seen Joe and Jason over there, and them boys over there fixed me up, and we got it squared away, so we're ready to rock. And
which Croft do you go to, Mer?
I go to the Croft over on Truman Road over there.
Yeah, that's the.
And Joe over there runs an asphalt car.
Down at I-44.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No,
yep.
I that's where I go. When I need something, when it comes to a hitch or trailer needs, I go. I will tell you, I do flip back and forth a little bit from 80H Hitch up there in Parkville a little bit. Those guys have taken pretty good care of me.
A little closer to you, but
yeah. But anyway, Mer, are they going to get it in up there? Are they going to get the show in? Have you heard about the weather?
Well, it's south of I-80 up there. It's in between Kansas City and I-80, and it's rolling, I think, kind of due east. So I looked at the radar just a little while ago, and there was nothing up around I-80 or Lincoln or anything like that. So I think we'll be okay. I think we should be able to get it in today. It's just the travel up there is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So bring extra towels when I get there, clean the cart back up,
Well, you know what? I think that's what they're calling for the weather here as well. I think they're talking about AM showers, then clearing off this afternoon. As long as we don't get too much rain here early in the AM, I think we'll be okay.
Well, it's already raining here at my house right now. So.
Sprinkled on me on the way in from Liberty today.
It's nothing hard right now. It's just a good steady sprinkle right now. Probably just enough to keep the dust level down a little bit.
Probably
probably
just enough to spend a few less gallons of diesel fuel watering the track.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So there you go.
That diesel fuel is not cheap nowadays.
Holy cow!
Now,
did I tell you, Lloyd, how much I spent on fuel last week?
Did you? I think
bought
100, like $1,400 or something like that.
No, not quite that much. I bought 114 gallons of diesel for the RacinBoys bus last week. $455.
Egads.
That's
a little insane.
And I always wanted a diesel pusher. What was I thinking, right?
Yeah. Well, back in the day, that was the way to go.
It still is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it still really is. I think it is.
It's just you need to have a little money when you own one. That's all.
Yeah.
which leads into the eye-opening conversation we had with Kelly Shryock last week, Lloyd. I know you had a conversation with him as well.
What'd you
think
of that?
Laying out all of the expenses that it takes to run the entire USMTS tour. And just for the pit passes to get in every week is just about ready to make you think, how do these guys do this?
Yeah, I heard that, and I don't understand how they do it. I mean, I guess if you got, some good sponsor money behind you, or if you have a good business like Kelly has, and Kelly's no slouch. Of course, he wins quite a bit, so he gets a little money back on that deal. But, what do you say, like $10,000 just for pit passes?
Right. Was it $30,000 to $40,000 for fuel?
$30,000 to run his rig up and down the road all year long last year.
And then he said another $40,000 on the motors. We added it up quickly, and I don't think we got into all of it. It was right at $100,000 what he just kind of spit out there. So
that is totally insane. I tell you what, racing nowadays is has really kind of got to the extreme and gotten out of hand. Unlike back in the old day where you used to throw a chain around the tree and pull the motor out and just put another, cheap old junkyard motor in and go out and run. Those days are long gone. We'll never see them again. The way technology is, and these engineers that have gotten into the sport now and everything, they just keep escalating things, and I don't see it ever stopping, truthfully.
We're talking to Lloyd Collins, the RacinBoys correspondent from Fast Track Photos, who's going up to the MLRA event at I-80 today, also with the ASCS Midwest region. They'll be running up there as well. Hey, Lloyd, were you a little it caught me off guard just a little bit. It sounded like Kelly was about ready to pull the plug on his racing career. Did you pick up on that when he said that? Were you a little shocked to hear that?
I was a little shocked. I kind of read between those lines, and it did sound like that. But I don't see him getting out anytime soon. I know, he's not getting any younger. He's probably the winningest driver in the USMTS series. I think that I-35 race last week up there, I think that's the first race or second race he's ever missed in that series. So I can see where he's probably coming from because of the expenses and things like that. It's getting out of hand. But honestly, once it's in your blood, look how many people you say that you see.
It's hard to get out.
Say that they're going to get out of it, and then next thing you know, here we're right back in it again.
And the thing is, though, Lloyd, what I think is important for him, and the reason that it's going to be even doubly hard for him to get out of it, is because he depends on USMTS to sell those high-dollar cars. Because let's face it, his cars are not cheap, and they're hard to get their hands on, and is out of sight, out of mind. If he's out there winning races, he's going to sell chassis. If he's not out there, and if his car's not out there with a presence, then they're not going to sell cars. And I think that's the one thing that's going to force him to stay driving with the USMTS series.
Well, I'll agree to a certain point, to a certain extent on that. I'll disagree with the fact that I don't think his car sales will stop. I think Kelly's smart enough that he's going to have the best drivers he can possibly get in his cars, and those guys are going to be out there representing as well. So it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. But like I said, I don't really see him getting out of it anytime soon. I think he's going to run as long as he possibly can, strap himself in and push the pedal.
Kirk, that's probably more lobbying, wouldn't you say, Kirk, that he was maybe just lobbying, trying to figure out a way to get the cost down? Maybe that's his way of, saying, hey, I'm going to leave if it doesn't get any cheaper, because he did say, Kirk, that he wanted to bring the price of racing. He wanted to reel that back in. We know how difficult that is, but that was one thing that he kind of pointed on.
I didn't get the feeling he was playing any games or anything or politics. I just think he's saying what it is. If this thing doesn't get to where people can afford to go out on the road, I mean, people will quit doing it. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Are you surprised, Lloyd, that Kelly didn't run better than he did? He started third last week in the King of America 2 and kind of drifted back really quickly after the green flag. He ended up ninth in the race. Are you surprised he didn't run better than he did?
Yeah, actually, I really was surprised. Starting up there as close as he was, I was surprised that he fell back. But, it seems to be that, if you watch the years that go by, you'll get 1 year that the Skyrocket chassis might be hot. The next year, the Hughes chassis may be hot. And it's the same way in the late model series. You get the Rocket chassis that are hot, and now, you get the Bloomquist chassis that are hot. Well, really, the hot one right now in the late model series is probably the Victory Circle chassis by Moyer. So it's kind of a revolving thing. I think he'll come back around. I think maybe he could be in a test pattern type mode, where he's trying some new things, because, these guys got to stay on top of their game. There's a lot of good chassis builders out there, and there's a lot of competition. And these guys got to stay on top of their game, and they've got to come out with new ideas and new things. And I think that's where Kelly's probably at right now, is just probably trying some new things. And once he gets them worked out, I think you'll see him back on top again.
GRT's finishing 3 of the top 5 positions last Saturday night. Stormy Scott with a broken shock. Once Vanderbeek got around him, did you think it was over at that point?
I really actually did, because if you watched Vanderbeek through that whole race, he was the first one that was getting down through the holes down there in 1 and 2 as smooth as nobody else was like it. He found a line where he was arcing it in, coming way down on the bottom, running below him, and just slowly working his way up there. But when he went by Stormy, I thought, okay, it's all over with. But it was incredible for Stormy to get back up on the wheel. I mean, he actually just sit up in that seat, boy, and just reared up on it, and with a broken right front shock, and went back around him. That really impressed me. There was quite a few things that was a wow factor, I thought, down there, and that was one of them, with him getting back up on the wheel and going back around Vanderbeek to win that deal.
You were talking about chassis here a moment ago, Lloyd, and I got to ask you about this. Terry Phillips bought some Bloomquist chassis. Now, is he just going to run the Bloomquist late model chassis and run the Phillips GRT by Phillips modified, or is his plans to move into the Bloomquist chassis on the modified? I mean, he's got those things rolling so good, I can't imagine he'd want to get away from those GRT modifieds.
No. His plans right now are to run the GRT by Phillips modified chassis. I don't think Bloomquist has any inkling of wanting to build any modified chassis. I've talked to him about it before.
I have too, right.
Yeah, and I don't think he has any notion of wanting to get into doing that. His late model chassis, once you get into doing stuff like that, then it kind of takes away from his primary goal of his late model chassis. And I don't think he wants to do that. He wants to, like I said, you've got to stay on top of the game because everybody, just almost weekly is coming out with something a little different. Different mounting points for your pickup points and stuff, and different shock packages and things like that. So you really got to stay on top of it. So I don't think he has any notion of wanting to build any modified chassis at all. And that is another hot chassis. The GRT by Phillips right now they're just on fire. It's one of them that's on top of the game right now, and he's got it where they're working, and it shows. Would you say, Kirk, 3 of the top 5 was GRT by Phillips chassis?
Yes, Stormy Scott leading the way.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think Stormy's is actually a GRT by Phillips. I think his is a straight GRT chassis.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, GRT probably picked up on some things from Phillips. I think what he's doing is he changes the geometry in the front end, doesn't he, pretty much, when Phillips gets him?
A little bit there, and then you've got the knowledge of his shock package and stuff like that. That's
right.
That's the big factor. Is a lot of these guys, they'll tweak them here and there just a little bit. But the thing is, when you buy them from people like Phillips or Moyer and those guys, like that, you've got access to their knowledge. You got input from them almost on a weekly basis, or not, if not a daily basis and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's too much difference in them. I know I talked to Rick Beebe. I heard you guys talk about Rick earlier in the first hour there, and he switched from Hughes chassis over to GRT.
Right.
Nothing wrong with the Hughes chassis at all. But a lot of these guys, they're switching because, everybody's driving style is a little different.
It's the flavor of the week, dude. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, let's be fair, man. Monkey see, monkey do.
Well, I'm not going to say monkey see, monkey do. A lot of it is. You're right.
There's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, but to the drivers themselves, they've got to find a chassis that is comfortable for their driving style. Everybody drives a little different. And Rick was telling me, there was nothing wrong with his Hughes chassis, but it just did not fit his driving style. And he jumped in his GRT, which he says he feels a lot more comfortable in the GRT chassis. So that's why he switched over to that. But yeah, I'll tell you, that show down there last week really impressed me. It was my first time down there for that King of America race, and I missed it last year, but I'll definitely be going back from here on out every chance I get.
You mentioned several other wow things you saw. What were some of those other wow moments?
One of the biggest wow factor was young Trevor Hunt, 13 years old, winning his first feature down there. And Kirk, you was there. The crowd was into it. The family, even us photographers, everybody was really into it. And to see this kid come out of the go-kart ranks like he has and move up into the B mods and progress as he has, I think you give this young man another 2 or 3 years, and he's going to be somebody to reckon with in the A mods.
He looks every bit about 8 years old, not 13 to me.
He does. He does. Yeah, to see this little kid come out of that car, and I mean, it's amazing. I mean, and like I said, I've seen him come up from the go-kart ranks where he ran out here at Thunder Lake out here, and now to be in the B mods, and for me to be present at his first win, I thought that was really exciting. That was the major wow factor, I think, of that weekend. Thursday night, I guess. Yeah, Thursday night, because I didn't get out of Thursday. The race between Corey Drips and William Gould. Those guys started on the front, and they ran side by side for the lead, which I thought was for 15 laps, but I was told later 19 laps they ran side by side for the lead. You can't get any better racing than that.
Yeah. Give me 2 grooves. That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely, yep. And Ron Whitworth prepares a very nice track down there. Very nice facility. He's done so much to that place down there to improve it, and putting in the campground back down in the lower 40 back there, next to the creek back there and all, and opening up the backside for pits and everything. He's just done a tremendous job down there with that track.
That event had every much a big-time race feel as any event you go to all year. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, no, absolutely, Kirk. I agree. The driver's introduction was another wow factor for me. I thought that was pretty neat how they cut the lights off and put the spotlight on the drivers and introduce the drivers that way. I thought that was really a neat little deal.
All right, Lloyd, before we let you go, and again, we're speaking with Lloyd Collins, Merman from Fast Track Photos, correspondent for RacinBoys, MLRA up at I-80 in Greenwood, Nebraska tonight. Give us a little preview of what we're going to see up there tonight.
Well, I think, you're going to have to watch out for some of the local guys. You're going to have to watch out for Anderson. I think he's going to be pretty tough. I think, from what I understand, Jesse Stovall and a few of them that ran down at Muskogee last night, they're going to head up there tonight. So Jesse's always a fast contender. Brad Looney, which he won the Spring Fling opener up there last year. I hear he's on his way up. He's coming up too, so he's another one to look out for. And then this young Kevin Sather, running for Rookie of the Year with us out of Des Moines, Iowa. Last couple weeks ago down Springfield, first time I've ever seen him race, and he really impressed me. The only thing is, afterwards I went down and talked to him, and he said he flat fell out of the seat. He got wore out, and he said he had to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, but he's going to be a real strong contender for that Rookie of the Year. Bill Layton and Mark Dotson got their work cut out for him. And in fact, I talked to Mark the other day, and he was going to go up because Springfield was the first time he'd ever strapped into a late model and made laps. So he was going to go up there last night and try to burn some laps and get a little more experience in that late model.
Did you hear what happened last night?
Got.
Any news about what happened during their late model SLMR last night?
No, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything or heard anything. I haven't even got no phone calls on it this morning.
Did we even get a press release,
No,
Kirk?
nothing.
Yeah, well, slacking on the press release.
Anybody knows,
there, so
give us a chat or email us something.
Let us know
there
what you know. Okay, Lloyd. Hey,
guys.
did you hear, Lloyd? This goes right. This is you all the way. What I'm getting ready to tell you right now.
Oh man, must be something about to do with money.
It is. It's about money, and you're gonna love it. You are absolutely gonna love it. Free oil changes till 2:00. If you go out to McCarthy Chevrolet, they're going to give you a free oil change. All you got to do is say you're a RacinBoys listener.
Wow, that's a deal.
Totally free. Not discount.
Deal.
It's not $15.95. It's not $12.95. It's free if you tell them you're a RacinBoys listener. How about that?
That's my bag right there. FREE.
I'm telling you, when I heard that, I thought I can't
get out there. If it's free, get out there. I would imagine they're probably getting a pretty good crowd up there if they're doing free oil changes at 2:00 this afternoon.
You better get out there before they get booked up till 2:00 because they might not be able to fit you in. Again, free oil changes, McCarthy Chevrolet. Lloyd, be careful driving up there, my friend. Okay,
all right, buddy. I'll. Are you coming up tonight?
I may. You may see me roll in up there tonight.
Well, just look me up. I think myself and Travis and Cam with the Corn Belt Series, I think we're all going to be kind of cruising around on the golf cart up there, and just look us up.
Are you going to come home tonight afterwards?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a short enough drive. Yeah, I'll be home tonight.
I was going to tell people that. I meant to touch on that. It's not a bad drive. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes from my house. You just go up I-29 to Nebraska City. How do you go across? Do you go over to 75?
Yep. And
to 34?
Take 75 north just about 5 miles to 34, and then go straight west to where Eagle Raceway's at, and then make a right, and you're about 11 miles from the track when you go due north. From
it's
there,
better.
You're 11 miles from the track, so it's not bad at all.
It saves you about 45 minutes if you go that way instead of going all the way up 29 and cutting over I-80, doesn't it?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay, bud. Well, have a safe trip. All right.
Thanks,
All
Lloyd.
right, guys. We'll holler at you later then.
Okay.
right.
Thanks, man.
All right. See you.
There's a good friend of the RacinBoys right there, Lloyd Collins. And remember the day when we said, hey, Lloyd, could you take a picture for us when you're out there? Had a little bitty cheap camera. Who would have known that it was going to blossom into what it is today?
Like you, he's been to a lot of races so far this year.
Yeah, he has been a lot. He is not afraid to go travel around and drag that old golf cart that he thinks is a show car with him everywhere.